Hello again and welcome back to Algebra. Today we're going to focus on the elimination method of solving a system of equations. We've got three examples, so let's get started. And our first one here, this one's going to be a little bit easier than the other ones, and that's because something is already eliminatable. What do you think it is? It's the two x's. They already line up perfectly, so that if we add the equations together, they eliminate. So we've got 6y minus 10, that's negative 4y. And 2 plus 22 is 24. And so we find out that y is equal to negative 6. And now we can use that to find x pretty easily using one of our original equations. So we'll just plug it into the first one. We get 2x plus 6 times negative 6, and that's equal to 2. So we get 2x plus negative 36 equals 2. 2x is equal to 38. X is equal to 19. And there we have it. X is 19, y is negative 6, and we've got both of our variables answered for. Perfect. So that one was simple. We didn't have to do anything to the equations. It was already able to be eliminated from the get-go. Let's move on to another one. All right, so in our second equation here, we are going to have to change one of the equations. Now, generally, we want to pick the one that's the easiest to fix. 5 and 3 don't match up very well, but 2 and 6 do. So what we could do is multiply this top equation by 3, and we'd get these to match up. So let's do that. So if we multiply this top equation by 3, we would get 15x, negative 6y, and 30. Now we can eliminate the 6's, so let's do that. We'll get 12x over here and 34 over here. That would make x 34 twelfths or 17 sixths. All right, we got a fraction. That's what happens when your teacher comes up with the problem off the top of his head and doesn't use a worksheet. Well, now we got 17 sixths, and we can figure out what y is. So we'll plug that in to the second equation. That's the lowest one. So we'll do negative 3 times 17 sixths plus 6y, and that's equal to 4. So let's get started. Negative 3 times 17 is 51, so we've got negative 51 sixths. And over here, I'm going to set this up to be sixths to make it easier for us by multiplying it by a 6 over 6. So now I'll add the 51 sixths over, and I'll get 6y is equal to 75 sixths. And then we divide by 6. So move up here, 75 sixths divided by 6 over 1, which is actually multiplied by 1/6. So we get 75 36 as our y value. So there we have it. We've got x is 17 sixths and y is 75 36. And I don't think you can reduce that. So there you go. There's our answer. So as you can see, right, if they're not perfectly lined up to get real nice numbers, might get some fractions like this. And this could happen in your homework as well. You'll get a fraction like that, which is good, right? It gives you a chance to practice using some of your fraction skills. Now let's move on to our final example. All right, here's our third and final example. Now, the x's are set up to be easily fixable, but for the sake of it, we're going to do the harder one here. Once again, just to give you an example of what you might have to do if it's more difficult. So to get these two to match up, right, this is a 5y, sorry about my poor penmanship, and then this is a 2y. So we're going to have to multiply this equation by 5 and this equation by 2 to make them match up. So our first equation here would end up being negative 50x plus 10y equal to 75. And our bottom one here would be 4x minus 10y equals 2. Now they're eliminatable by the y's here. One thing I didn't have in any of these examples that I would like to point out is sometimes if something doesn't quite match up with our symbols, we might have to multiply something by a negative number. to make sure it all matches. So you got to make sure that you're paying attention to that so that they actually line up with a plus and minus like they do here. Okay, so let's go back to our example. We can eliminate the tens, like I said, and we're going to get negative 46x equal to 77. Awesome. So that means that x is going to be 77/46, negative 77/46. Another excellent fraction for us to work with here. So now we can plug it in, and we'll go into the 2x minus 5y equals 1, because that one's a little bit easier. So we'll do 2 times negative 77/46, and that is minus 5y equal to 1. So 77, that's 154. That is reducible. So I'm going to reduce that real quick. Divide that by 2. We get negative 77/23. Okay, and that's minus 5y equals to 23/23. So now we're in the same thing. We'll add the 77/23 over, so we get negative 5y equal to 100/23, and then we'll divide by negative 5. Now we're going to do some fraction math. Whoa. My body doesn't let me squat like that. All right, so we've got 100/23, and we're being divided by negative 5, so we're multiplying by negative 1/5. So that's going to be 100 over 115. So we get negative 100 over 115. That reduces to negative, let's see, if we divide it by 5, that would be 10/13. There we go. So y is equal to negative 10/13. So there we go. We've got our y value at negative 10/13. Our x is negative 77/46. We got some fraction practice in, and we practiced eliminating. So those are our two methods of solving systems of equations. Now, in your homework or in your tests, they might specifically ask you to use one of the methods, but if they don't specify, you can use whichever one you're the most comfortable with. So make sure, if all else fails, you're at least super comfortable using one of these things. Pick your favorite, get good at it. Because then at least if you're given the option, you can pick the one that you're the most comfortable with. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Algebra, and we'll see you next time for some more math knowledge. Bye.